Hi, everybody, and a warm welcome to this creative webinar. My name is Anna, and I work as a digital marketing specialist here at Zalster. I will be going through the meta part with you today, giving some tips and takeaways on how to work with creatives in 2023 to elevate your ads.
And hello, everyone. My name is Lovisa. I also work as a digital specialist here at Zalster. I will be going through the platforms Pinterest and TikTok, how we work on these platforms, trends during 2023, and what to keep in mind when creating creatives for ads. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to write them in the chat, and we will do our best at the end to answer them. We will also email you this webinar after completion so you can access the information provided when needed.
Yeah, so let's start with meta. Combining data with data. Let's jump into the subject on everybody's mind, measurement. Meta only gives one side of the story. A close collaboration between departments, agency, clients, and other stakeholders is therefore crucial in getting the whole image. You cannot only rely on Meta's data or Google's data. You need to combine your backend insights with the results you can see on the social media platforms. So therefore, we encourage you to consider your marketing goals, sales, customer insights, lifetime value, average order value, and other useful insights with those who manage your paid socials. It is also beneficial that product managers and purchasers communicate important product-related information to the paid social team. This includes bestsellers, product with great margins, new incoming products, and other information that can benefit targeting and setup. Another key aspect in this area is the Conversions API. It's a server-side tool that allows you to track customer actions on the server side rather than the browser side. Sharing this data will help you improve tracking and maximize performance and results. It's fundamental for social advertising today. If you don't already have it implemented, don't hesitate to contact us and we will help you out. Adjust your content to the customer journey. Adjusting your content to the customer journey is crucial. You're probably very familiar with the classic funnel. It still works, kind of the same, but we have a different take on it after iOS 14. We usually optimize towards purchase in all steps of the funnel, even in the prospecting stage, to reach an audience who has a purchase behavior. But that doesn't mean that the content should focus on sales. In prospecting, we reach a target audience that is cold, and even if the persona has a proven purchase behavior in the past, they still either don't know about your brand at all, or they haven't engaged with it yet. In prospecting, we want to introduce our brand, build legitimacy and interest. We wouldn't focus too much about pushing discounts or sales in the content. Rather focusing on storytelling and information about your brand, product, or collection that creates interest. A good example would include intriguing copy and pictures, and a bonus would be a direct sale. On the left, you can see an example of a prospecting ad that introduces the brand, highlights who they are, build legitimacy in highlighting that they have an award-winning product and describing benefits with a user-generated video that you can relate to. If the customer doesn't convert directly, we still have the possibility to convert them in the next step, retargeting. In retargeting, you can have another orientation. Here we know that in some type of way, the audience has been in contact with your brand before. We can therefore focus on converting, even in your content. And a good content would include a push, such as benefits, discounts, free delivery, or your unique selling point. In the retargeting ad on the right, they show a product image with benefits, proof of concept, and an offer. And it really comes down to speaking differently to your audience depending on where they're currently at in the customer journey. An issue that we usually see in prospecting is that the frequency can get high, since there is only a limited group of people that falls under the sales objective. For large performance advertisers, up to 90% of the people could have been reached before. We, in these cases, need to broaden our targeting to reach a new audience. On the Meta webinar that was recently held, they advocate on adding reach as an objective in addition to performance. It can broaden your audience with 148% and increase the size of the retargeting audiences 4 times. The result in this test was also minus 73% lower cost per incremental conversion when using performance in combination with reach versus performance alone. So, if you have a higher media spend budget and need to broaden your audience and incremental conversions, consider adding more upper funnel objectives in combination with performance campaigns. Combining data with creativity. Combining data with creativity is today not only good, but necessary to achieve a higher return on ad spend. No matter how good the account structure is, creatives will always have a decisive role. Daring to try will bring you answers. Don't only go with what looks good or on brand or what you think will work. Try different formats, text overlays, and content. Always run with alternatives. Do at least 2 versions of ads for the same products. This gives you the opportunity to optimize and bring up the overall ROAS. You may have heard that on TikTok, you make TikToks, not ads. This is not necessarily for the Meta yet, but getting out of your comfort zone and optimizing for Meta will elevate your ads. The big difference between organic content and paid ads is decreasing, and the urge to see real, relatable content is growing. Take insights from your organic platforms and share them with your paid social team. A post, story, or reel could be turned into a successful ad with a few optimizations. And we also want to leave you with some creative tips from Meta. And the first one is attention. With audiences swiping quickly through their feeds, your brand must make a real impact in seconds. Keep the video short, maximum 15 seconds. Use your most exciting frame first. Story is not the format to build up a long story before revealing your product. You want to show it as soon as possible. And keep in mind, people don't want to work hard to figure out what you're trying to tell them. The next one is branding. Showcase your brand early and often. A brand is not only your logo. It can also be your color palette, typography, or product. Make the ads as an extended arm of your web page. The best ads often clearly articulate the brand and value and speak directly to their audience. And experiment. Get out of your comfort zone and experiment. Include colors, faces, and eyes. It actually generates higher interest. Top performing mobile ads have an element of surprise. Introducing strong design elements may seem intimidating, but can make ads more effective. Adjusting the format to the relevant placement is key. Remember to adapt the story and reel format. And since there will be no other copy showing, add text overlays and your logo. Design videos for sound off, but the light with sound on. Make sure your message will come through even when the viewer has sound off, but enhancing when the feeling when the sound is on. And design for vertical videos. It is the trend of 2023. Skip the expensive productions. In a recent meta study, campaigns with lower production value videos drove higher lift in ad recall compared with high production campaigns. Try ads shot in an unpolished style using your mobile phone. Work with Reels, because this is the new format for branding and expression. And to sum it up, we can no longer guess or predict that the nicest image or video will perform the best. A lower cost production and an ad that you can relate to can be even more intriguing. And lastly, we would like to leave you with a tip to work with bestsellers and news. It has had a proven effect in our experience. So thank you, and over to Lovisa and Pinterest.
Thank you so much, Anna, for those insights on Meta. Moving on to Pinterest. Perhaps some of you are already advertising on the platform or posting organically, but some of you might be unfamiliar with Pinterest. So what differs Pinterest as a social media and how we work on the platform from other social media platforms? Well, a great analogy of how Pinterest differs from other platforms is how consumers use social media in relation to a party. A social media user would use Facebook and Instagram to post pictures from the party and talking about what a great party it was. During the party, they would use Twitter and Snapchat to let everybody know that they are currently there. Pinterest, on the other hand, would be used to plan the actual party. Its decor, outfits, food, etc. In other words, users of Pinterest, or pinners as they're called, are actively searching for inspiration and brands that align with their visions and plans. And going back to the classic funnel Anna mentioned earlier, customers on Pinterest are often at the top of the funnel, prospects that are planning for a purchase. So why should you advertise on Pinterest, you might think? Well, there are currently 445 million users on Pinterest, and among those, 1.71 million are located here in Sweden. Majority of the users are women belonging to generations Millennials, Gen X, and Boomers, meaning women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Pinners have an average of 30% larger basket at checkout compared to other platforms, which is partly a result of the customer research and planning that I mentioned earlier. This also relates to that 80% of the weekly pinners say they have discovered a new brand or product that inspired them, making it an optimal platform for brand awareness objectives. In other words, on Pinterest, the consumer is actively searching for your brand. You just have to make sure you are there to be found. And how do we make sure you are at the right spot? On Pinterest, we do this by working with interests, trends, and keywords. And don't worry, Pinterest will help you understand what those trends and keywords are for you to keep in mind when creating your creatives for ads. On the screen here, you see trends that Pinterest presented on their latest webinar that they are predicting for 2023. And just to add, Pinterest has had over 80% success rate on predicting trends previous years. So keep this in mind. There is also a tool called Pinterest Trends that will help you identify what is currently trending and just make sure that you adapt your creatives and to current popular trends and use the matching keywords. One benefit when it comes to Pinterest is that you can reuse your ads from Meta that matches the interest, trends, and keywords you are working with. One trend on Pinterest currently is airy styles. And yes, it is partly inspired by Harry Styles and his iconic fashion sense. Here on the left, you see trending keywords and how much they have risen in popularity during September 2020 to 2022. Pinners are using these keywords to find content for their boards, become inspired, and most importantly, make purchases that match with their vision and identity. How would this trend apply to creatives? We would recommend you to select products that are light in colors, thin materials, has ruffles, and videos with a sensual feel. Create short videos using soft surroundings like meadows and lakes to complement your product. Another trend that we are seeing now is primal movement, which includes stretching and body movements. This trend is a result of the pandemic, where working from home became a norm. And primal movement is the anti-tech response that focuses on everyday health and movement. Focus on functionality, comfort, and movement in the creatives. Tips and tricks on stretching is a key part of this trend, so utilize it in creatives through experimenting with the model's poses. If you sell athletic clothes, we recommend you to highlight comfort and flexibility in the copy as well. Finally, rom-com core. This is a trend that we have seen both on Pinterest, but also on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Customers are nostalgic, and they are looking back to the iconic 2000s for clothes, accessories, and decor. Rom-com core is about the customer wanting the main character energy in everyday moments and habits. Tap into the trend, creating creatives that use nostalgic accessories from 2000s and highlight products that align with the fashion back then. Make sure that the product in your creatives are the star and represent the star quality the customer wants to achieve. Another key aspect when it comes to advertising interest is working with seasonal events. Understand what events are important for your customers and create copy and creatives in relation to these. But like I said earlier, pinners are planning ahead, so start early, earlier than you think. For instance, searches for Christmas-related words start already in August, so establish a presence and be ready when the customer starts searching for you. Pinterest offers a tool called Audience Insight, which helps you identify your audience interests and preferences. With the help of Audience Insight, you can identify how to target your ads to find new customers that have similar interests and existing prospects and engage customers. And to summarize, pinners love trends and seasonal events. To understand your customers and to understand trends and keywords and how to work with them on Pinterest are key to effective advertising on the platform. Apply this knowledge while creating your creatives for ads, and you will ensure effective, relevant ads that will be found where the customers search for them. If you are curious if Pinterest is a suitable platform for your brand and advertising goals, please feel free to reach out to us and we will guide you. Moving on to the final and newest platform, the platform that everyone seems to keep talking about, TikTok. A few of you might already be on the platform, and some of you may not be. So why should you advertise on TikTok? Well, currently there's over 1 billion users worldwide, and among those, 2.85 million are located here in Sweden. This represents roughly 28% of the total Swedish population. The majority of TikTokers are younger in ages, belonging to Generation Z, also known as the trendsetters, and millennials. However, since TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform, we see a steady increase in older generations as well. Average time spent on TikTok is a staggering 95 minutes a day. This means that the average user spends over 1.5 hours scrolling in the feed. And this gives your brand a great opportunity to be seen. Also, since TikTok is one of the newest platforms, there are relatively few competitors, which means a lower cost per million and cost per action compared to other social media platforms. Like Anna mentioned earlier, there is a saying that says, make TikToks, not ads. This is due to that TikTok is vastly different to other social media platforms. TikTokers are looking for transparency and realness in brands. They want to be able to create a relationship to the brand and be a part of the community. Content is the optimal TikTok video, and therefore we need to utilize this in creatives for ads on TikTok. So once again, make TikToks, not ads. But how do we do this? Well, when it comes to creatives on TikTok, there are some key aspects to keep in mind. TikTok themselves have summarized 9 key tips. And these are: leverage the power of sound, get your key message out early, let TikTok creators take the creative lead, ride on the latest trends, keep your story real and entertaining, shoot natively for TikTok, break the fourth wall, overlay concise and informative text, and finally, include a strong call to action. TikTok have seen that 61% of the most effective ads use at least half of these tips. So keep them in mind when you film creatives for TikTok. Finally, we want to leave you with some tips on trending formats right now. Here is a trending format for both user-generated content, but most importantly, ads on TikTok: the TikTok response bubble. Unfortunately, the sound does not translate for this webinar, but the person on the video describes the benefit of the products. This form of TikTok allows you to engage and communicate with your customers by either answering a question or verifying their response and opinion to the product or brand. This helps you strengthen your customer relationship and to be seen as an active listener to their opinions. Make sure you enable comments on organic posts you wish to use as later for ads. Another trending format is one of TikTok's creative leads, tips that I mentioned earlier. Let your TikTokers and influencer take the creative lead. In this video, we see a makeup artist influencer present her favorite products from NYX and show a makeup look that TikTokers can recreate. Make sure that you are working with TikTokers that align with your brand's values, with your customers' interests. Working with TikTokers is a great way of reaching new customers. And an added bonus is that customers tend to have a higher trust in recommendations that are presented by influencers they look up to. And to summarize, when creating creatives for ads on TikTok, you want to keep them honest and natural. Let go of control and allow your customers to see the less polished, more personal side of your brand. Keep the creative tips in mind and make sure you use sound, TikTok format, follow trends to stay relevant, and most importantly, have fun and experiment. If you are interested in TikTok or wonder if it's a suiting platform for your brand, please feel free to contact us and we will help you out.
And to sum it up, so what does all of this tell you? That you have a ton of opportunities to reach your dream clients. Don't miss out on reaching potential customers by limiting yourself to one platform. If you're curious about your brand's potential or would like advice, please reach out to us and we will be happy to help you with our omni-channel approach. And to round it up, we would love to answer some questions.
I see one question here in the chat. We are a small business and are creating all of our content in-house. It all sounds very expensive and a lot of work, and needing to create different content for different channels. Any tips? That is a very good and relevant question. Keep in mind, when you have photo shoots and creating content, you can always bring your phone and shoot some behind the scenes material. For instance, when it comes to TikTok, behind the scenes is a perfect TikTok video and can often be used as ads. You can also just snap some nice pictures behind the scenes and use them, for instance, on stories and reels for Meta as well. There's often a great possibility of creating different content. It's just being creative and find different ways. Another question here is there any way to experiment and test new things without needing to put too much budget on it? Anna, would you like to answer that question?
I couldn't see it, sorry.
Okay, I can go ahead then. Proper tests need enough budget to get significant results. Otherwise, we can't really rely on the results and implement this core strategy. A recommendation is to take this opportunity of low competition that we are currently in now in Q1 with the lower CPM prices, and to test different segments and strategies ahead. So when Q2 and Q3 is rolling in, you have broadened your reach and broadened your prospects and reached more consumers beforehand, so we can target them later on when the CPM and prices rises during Q4, for instance. I think that was all of the questions. Like we said earlier, if you have more questions or would like to get more information on how this webinar and these creative tips apply to your brand, we are happy to have a chat with you. So just reach out to us, either me or Anna or one of our colleagues here at Zalster, and we would be happy to help you out. So thank you so much for listening into this webinar, and we wish you a great Friday and a great weekend ahead. Bye, everyone.
Bye.